about Waterbourne.
It's where you can get news about the Jamaican culture and just learn about how Jamaicans are doing as a yard and abroad.
Salut tout le monde, ici Carrière La Flamme. T'aimes le reggae en français, en anglais, qui vient du Canada, du Québec et de la Jamaïque? Écoute Watagwan.
So rope in and come check out the thing now. Is Watagwan.
I live in the UK and I enjoy tuning in to Waterbourne.
I am a big fan of Gwaan. I'm always looking forward for the great vibes, the great things. They discuss a lot of things that are going on in Calgary, across Canada, and of course Jamaica. So
this is what is going on in Jamaica. But check out Gwaan.
Every Friday at 7 p.m. Calgary time.
You get to learn a new Jamaican patois word or even a Jamaican trick.
I look forward to the patois word of the day, feeding my nostalgic mood with flavor and spice. Only Jamaicans can do.
Watch Gwaan.
It happens every Friday at 7 p.m. So check them out. And bye from Toronto.
Watch Gwaan.
Yo, this is Big Shot.
Watch Gwaan.
Relevant and entertaining, so keep up the good work.
Watch Gwaan.
tune in, share, listen to Gwaan.
Big up yourself. Watagwan 2022. Bless up.
Watagwan. Yes, Watagwan.
Watch Gwaan.
Always you're going to know what going on in a yard. Check it out. 7 p.m. every Friday. Welcome back. It's another Friday and it is time for Watagwan. So send out the call out and call your friend, family, and everybody because guess what? It's Watagwan time. And I am your host again this week and it's only your girl from where? You know it, Bongo Town. So it's Nicole again for another week of Watagwan. This week we're going to be having a interesting show and we'll have some good conversation. So as I say, I am Nicole and I am from Bongotown, Victoria, Linstead, St. Catherine. So community within a community within a community, all right? So I am currently settling in Calgary and I work with the Women's Center and I'm also a volunteer with the Jamaican Association here in Calgary. I do other volunteering stuff, but enough about me. Let's get to the show because I really want to get to the interesting parts of the show. So the agenda today, it's Mother's Day weekend. Nice, right? So this week we're going to be talking about Mother's Day, motherhood. And we're going to be looking at the good, bad, and the ugly of being a mom. So that's on the agenda for the day. So this Sunday, when we celebrate Mother's Day, we just want to say a special shout out to all the mothers, whether you're a stepmom, a grandmother or granny, a foster mother, a church mother, or just someone who loves kids and mothers everybody kids. So just want to say big up to all of you, whether you give birth to them or you adopt them or you get them through whichever means you get them. But on Sunday, we'll be celebrating you. So happy Mother's Day to all of you folks out there who are representing motherhood. Before we get any further into the show, we want to get to the patois word of the day. And the word, well, maybe is words, because as Jamaicans, we double up everything. So the word today is fenke fenke. Have you ever heard that word before? So for me, fenke fenke, the other day I was buying some bananas and they never look too, they never look too goodish. So I said to the person, me no want them banana there because they look too fenke fenke. So fenke fenke, maybe something that look too good or maga. Me not too sure. When you tell me in the comment, me just know when you use it in a one sentence, me understand what you say. But me not think me know if explain it. But the patois word today is fenke fenke. So remember, we want to make the thing interactive and we want to keep it going, right? So in order to do that, drop it in the comments. So the meaning and a sentence. So use it in a sentence and maybe just keep the thing going live and chatty and just going. So to do that, drop it in the comments and let me know. So remember is Fenke Fenke. All right. Looking forward to the comments. So on last week's show, we celebrated International Dance Day. Me no know where it's at, but guess what? I had a wonderful time. So last week we spoke to Patrick Earl and Charles Matthews Jr. So they talk about, different dance. And, important dance is to Jamaica. So the conversation was very good. I learned a lot, and I hope you folks learn a lot too. So we talk about things about Gary Mile, them one that did new to me, never hear it, but who knows, maybe I see it but just never know say that it name Kumina, which we all know. And we talk about Bogle, which is a prolific the late Bogle, prolific dance icon in Jamaica. A lot of dance moves. I think of them man the bus dancing big on the world stage at Jamaica. So we look pan dance like Willie Bones, and if you're Jamaican, you're gonna say bonks. You can't bother twist up your tongue if you say bones. So we say Willie Bones, Willie Bongs, and we talk about dirty wine. And I want you to remember that Patrick Earl said that if these things are not a part of your lived experience, be careful of how you try to do some of these dances, because if it's not your lived experience, you can probably hurt yourself. But it was a very interesting conversation. If you never see it or you want to watch it again, remember where to find us. You can see it on YouTube or you can see it on Facebook. Again, also follow us on these different social media pages. So on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, or you can check out the website. And on all of these pages, you see it as Gwaan. So remember to follow us, because we want to make the thing go big. We want to get it more than national. We want to spread it to the whole wide world. All right. So again, follow us on these pages and invite your friends and family to also follow us. So we just want to go into the news now. So in Calgary, tomorrow, in celebration of Mother's Day, we're going to be having karaoke night. And for the entire week, me I warm up my pipes, me I drink my warm lemon water and them something there. Again, Mark, me can't sing for save nobody life, not even my own, but me I warm up my pipes to be ready for sing out some tune, because it's Mother's Day and I want to celebrate it. So join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. over at 8th Avenue Northeast. That's where our building is, and that's where the show will be happening. And we're gonna have some food, because anywhere Jamaican there, music and food after there. So we'll be having jerk chicken and festival on sale. So if you need any information, you can just call us 403-775-1235 or send us an email or find us on the social media on Instagram or on Facebook at JCA Alberta, and you'll see all the information. So come on out and show us some support. So in Montreal, the Jamaican Association over there wants to invite you to Bamboo Lounge for storytelling. And this is for the more mature crowd. I don't want to say senior, because some of these people I'm seeing these days, when they're senior, they're more fit than me. So for the more mature people, those people who are on the other side of 50, yeah, it's for them. So on May 7th, join them. So you'll have a free movie. It starts at 4 p.m. So you can call them at 514-737-822 to get more information. But please go on out and support them. Remember, try and support the different association when they put on these things. Also on May 4th, over in Montreal too, the Women's Auxiliary is hosting a Mother's Day walking tour of Old Montreal. I would love to be on that. And that starts at 4 p.m. So space is limited. So again, you can call them at 514-737-8229 to book your spot. You don't want to miss this, because again, Jamaica, so the thing I go fun. So turn out on May 14th and support the Women's Auxiliary Mother's Day walking tour of Old Montreal. Okay. Over in Toronto on May 14, or Toronto, on May 14, there's going to be a Learn Your Right, Workers' Right info clinic. We had that young lady, I can't remember her name now. We spoke to her last week, and she was just giving you some information as to what you're going to be seeing. So please turn out on May 14th from 11 to 2 p.m. And that's at the Jamaican Canadian Association over there in Toronto. And that's at 995 Aura Road. If you need more information, you can give them a call at 416-746-5772 or find them on the different social media, because all of these associations use social media. So check them out and show them some support. The Jamaican Diaspora Conference is inviting you to participate with them June 14 to 16. They're hosting this conference under the theme Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. It will be virtual, and in order to register, you will need to visit the website at www.mfaft@gov.jm. So just to say that again, to register, it's www.mfaft.gov.jm. They're wanting to get to a goal of having 5,000 people from the diaspora to participate in this conference. So please jump on again and support the thing. You know, we're trying to make the nation, our little Jamaica, even bigger than it is before. So we're reigniting those flames. So please show your support. So again, another one of my favorite parts of the show is Spot the Place. All right. So with this segment of the show is where we share pictures of places in Jamaica and in Canada. So, you know, wherever you find those little spots that you like, there, or if they're foreign, which is Canada, you can just send us those pictures so we can show the place. And this week, guess what? They must show foreign, aka Canada. So this place that you're spotting is not in Jamaica. It's in Canada, all right? So again, use the comments and please to tell us where this is. If you know where this place is, drop it in the comments and we'll be sure to call it out at the end of the show, all right? So it's Spot the Place. Tell us which part of foreign, aka Canada, those two pictures that you're looking at is located, all right? Remember to participate to make it fun. All right. So now it's time to hold a reason.
Nicole.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, you know, the answer is a finky.
We're good, man. Yes.
You're good? You're good? All right.
As you see, I know when you use it in a sentence, I know where you say, but I can't describe the meaning.
Yeah, man. Finky is under what is expected.
Oh.
So if it finky, it is clearly be a little disappointing, and in some cases that can be physical. It can be all kinds of different things, right? Because like I say, you answer me finky, sound weak and poorly.
Poorly. All right. All the one, the poorly. Okay.
Well, this week we have a big topic, and you know it's going to be an interesting little chat as we get into it. So let's swing and come back, and we have a reason and bring in some guests. Yeah, folks, thanks for joining again as we reason here on What a Gwaan. And tomorrow, well, Sunday is Mother's Day, as we celebrate mothers all across the world. And today we're going to talk about motherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And we've got two wonderful people. One of them is our host, who is a mother of two, Kenya, who is 15, and Mali, who's 10, and Deandra Hurst, who is a mother of a 19-year-old son, Zachary, both of Jamaican descent, so they have a lot of the culture. So we're going to get them into the conversation here as we have a reason about motherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Deandra, Nicole,
Yes.
greetings.
Greeting.
Greetings.
Greetings to you.
Thanks for joining the reasoning as you know we get into Mother's Day, and you know big up all the mothers out there. But before we actually dive deep into the discussion, maybe what I should ask you, and Nicole, you kind of alluded to that a little bit, and I'll share my own experience. My mom passed away a few years ago, but for you, and maybe who is a mother? We use this term so loosely sometimes, right? Who is a mother?
Well, for me, a mother is someone who doesn't have to be the person who gave birth to the person. It's just someone who step in those role and show support, provide, and do those daily things that is required to bring a human being to their full potential. So, to me, anyone who steps in that plate can be classified as a mother.
Deandra?
The word that came to mind was nurturer. For me, a mother, female, is a nurturer. So, someone who nurtures not necessarily their biological child, but anyone that they can provide emotional, physical, whatever support to.
Right. So nurturer, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the person who gave birth to you. So it's not necessarily a biological description per se, right? And when we grew up in communities, maybe I don't know if it is the same now. Maybe we can discuss that. There was a time when everybody who is female represents your mother, right? Especially Al Bongoton, too, Nicole.
I don't appreciate that, but yes.
No, but the rural culture is a little different from the urban culture. But
Urban, yeah.
isn't that part of how the society saw motherhood, that all the females treated all the kids like their own?
Yes.
We can speak. Let's speak to our experience. Is that how we used to see it?
True.
Yes, and you said it earlier. I think it's very different now. We've become so westernized that we're adopting these fancy, isolating way of parenting now in Jamaica. That is not necessarily a good thing. But as a child, I grew with my granny. So even though my mother was there, my grandmother was the instrumental person. And certain things, like if you go up on the road and you do certain things, and somebody identify you and say, "I'm Miss Martin granddaughter," that you're in a trouble. Cause you get reprimand when you're there, and when you reach home, you can guarantee say you have to start coach you. And in the which part you can coach finger. Because it's double. So and I find that works well because it ensures, so when you're up on the road, even though your parents not see you, then so you still have to be, as my grandfather say, you have to be circumspect, because somebody might see you because they know who grow you.
Deandra, how was your upbringing, or how has your upbringing influenced you as a mother?
Well, from my upbringing, my mother really wasn't present physically or geographically. She was abroad. So I grew up primarily with my dad. So that influenced my parenting in that I chose to be present. She probably never had a choice because, she had to hustle. But I chose to be present for my son because I didn't want him to feel neglected or abandoned or anything like that. So that has influenced my parenting style greatly.
Right. And as we go through the whole issue of parenting, Nicole, you kind of talk about westernized, and I'm going to bring technology in here. What are some of the challenges the modern day mothers face with technology and just the way the world is today?
And I'll speak for myself. Like I find it very challenging. And now my kids were born in Jamaica, so they came here part of the way. But then when they come and they start go to school, they tell them in school now that they have rights. Not to say they never had rights when they're in Jamaica, but now they come and they say, oh, like my son will say, oh, if you hit me, I'll call the police. Or, they have those things where, and they watch these different TV shows where, like, you're grounded or you lose those fancy things. Back when I was a child, there was no grounding. You do something bad, you get your ass nicely whooped. Right, so they see those things and they think it applied to the real world. So like I find it a struggle because like I don't necessarily want to beat my kids because I don't think the way this was punished as a child is right. So I don't want to repeat that. But the influence, it for me, I find it very difficult with transition, finding that middle ground to finding the right way to discipline.
So, Deandra, I mean, we talk about the discipline and we talk about the influence of culture because every culture clearly is different. Your son grows up in a different culture. Do you think the way you brought him up was better to a certain extent than what you'd have seen back home?
I don't really want to throw on a stone, but can I use the word different, please? It was different. So,
Right.
growing up, if me blink too hard, right? I had no freedom. I couldn't ask questions. It was just, it was that, I don't know the word right now. But how I decided to raise my son was I gave him the latitude to ask questions. If he had an issue, ask questions. If him do something bad, tell me say you do something bad so that we can figure it out. I would have to hide those stuff from my family because if they knew about it, would I probably lose all of my eyebrow them. So I want sorry. I try to do it a little different. It's never easy, but I try to do it a little different so that he found me to be someone that he could confide in and talk to anytime, anywhere, any place.
Yeah, and that's interesting because and you call it different, and yes, it is, but that comes with a certain amount of enlightenment and what you inherit, right? And also the structures around the parenting or the environment in which you're doing that parenting, right? Maybe for both of you, what maybe is one of the biggest challenges to being a mother?
Oi, I don't know if we have time. There is for me there is a lot. The thing with parenting, there's no manual. And what I find is that parenting children comes with personality. So like I have my two kids, my daughter and my son. They are worlds apart. So then sometimes I get into that mode of comparing my daughter to my son because with her it was way easier. With him, he's much more, I wouldn't want to say forceful, but he stands firm and like he challenges us as parents more than my daughter did. And so there is no parenting. So sometimes you do something and it works and you're like, oh, that works. But then 2 seconds later, something else happened. And the thing where you try before no work again. So you just leave scratching your head. So there's a lot of challenges. So I don't even know which one to point out to say which ones.
I agree with Nicole. The personality is a big thing that I had to deal with because my son, he had a strong personality and he would challenge stuff. There were times that I really never liked my son. I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, we never like him. But now he's old and we really like him. But, so the personality thing was very challenging. He would say, Mom, why? And growing up, my answer to the question of why was because I said so.
Yes.
I said so, not working with him. Him want all of the reason. And you talk about culture, and can just Google it. Okay, this is why the cow look brown and this is why the cat is black. My family could have just tell me, say, it's because that's how it go. So it's like, no, I have to be more informed. No, I have to try to be gentle because Morales is a phase. So the personality thing is just a
Right.
phase. So once him get through that little part there, and then we get to start like him again, then we could have moved on.
What I'm hearing from both of you is that there's quite a bit of learning that comes with motherhood.
Yes.
And I'll go to one avenue of the discussion and then come back. And maybe that is why some people have deliberately chosen not to go down that path.
Mhm.
What's your take on the people who have looked at it and said, that is not for me?
After having kids,
Or
do
before, some of them
it,
choose not to,
yeah, before I might have think, why wouldn't you want kids? But I think experience and exposure and learning and having my kids, I realize the toll that it takes physically, emotionally, mentally. So if someone choose to not have kids, I would say, hey, hats off to you, power to you, to do you. Because it's a lot of work. I wouldn't give back my, hopefully I would give back my kids, but it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Yeah, I agree with you with that. I would listen to the reason why, and like you make your own decision. If you want a dog, go get a dog. If you want to borrow
The-
my one, you can borrow my one. But yeah, I would never have, I mean, it's a beautiful experience. It's rewarding in its own right. But I would tell you, say, if I have a child, to be happy.
right. 'Cause, there's
Yeah.
in some cultures a lot of pressure on the females to fulfill a certain expectation, including motherhood, right? And that pressure is not necessarily understood by all involved, right? Including the partners. So let's talk a little bit about the partners, right? Is there, and based on our culture, is there a reasonable appreciation as to what motherhood really is all about from the partners?
you want to go
Let me
first?
go first. No, let me
Yes.
go first. I don't have a partner, so I can't answer that question. So
Yeah.
okay. That's my response.
And so much power and to you, Deandra, because my mother too was a single mother, and I have friends who are single parent, and when I had my kid, like I was doing so many things. I was a wife, I was a mother, I was a student. I have both my kids while I was studying, and I don't know how I do it, but then I had a supportive partner, like he dispelled those gender myth that people that say, well, Jamaican man, he dispelled all of those myths. He was there to the neck and neck. Even now, my kids are much closer to their dad than they are to me. They have this good relationship. So I find that with a supportive partner, it works. So I really have newfound appreciation for single mothers who are doing it on their own. When I realize that if I didn't have a supportive partner, me I would have probably stand, but it helps so much with having a
Of course.
supportive partner. So I really have to say hats off to all those single mothers and single dads out there who are just doing this and killing it.
Yeah. And some of the requirements of motherhood, and you talk about single parent, and I'm of the view that it doesn't matter how great a single dad is, he'll never be a mother. And in the same way, no matter how great a single mom is, she'll never be a father. Uh, what do you say to that? And how does that balance fit into the equation? How necessary and important is it?
I concur. I absolutely concur. From a personal experience, because I raised a boy, and because I am a woman, I could not teach him how to be a man. So I do concur that a male and a female is needed to raise a healthy child. Not that him unhealthy, but him kind of, So it's absolutely crucial that you have both parties as best as you can. And if you don't have that male, walking alongside you as a woman or vice versa, then to have a support group or a network of the opposite sex to help to mentor that child is very important.
Yeah. What's your technical?
Yeah, I agree with what Deandra said too. That mentorship piece is key. And then it always irks me, like on Father's Day, when I see women coming out and say Happy Father's Day to me, because I did. And I'm saying like we can't switch the roles. Like there are things that a child need, and if the father or the mother is not around, having those examples for people to learn, and outside of the gender stereotypes or the gender roles that come with being a regular say a mother, a man or a woman, there are things that a child need to learn from different parents. And even as a girl who grew up where my father wasn't in my life, and even at the point when we reconnected, it was I saw him on summer holidays and I didn't see him again. Like I felt like I needed those influence. I felt like it would have helped, especially when I started dating. Like it would give me a LT, I'm gonna use an LT example of, what you should be treated, how you should be treated by someone. So I think it probably
Absolutely.
assisted in forming some form of unhealthy behavior as it relates to relationships with men.
Right.
Can I
I
piggyback on
Yeah,
Nicole?
go ahead, Deandra.
So I think with the male, because you mentioned the father being absent, I think a father being present, like really present in a girl's life, boosts her emotionally, build up her self-esteem. Because my father was physically there, but emotionally not so much, and that I
right.
think affected my identity a lot. Because like I wondered if I was pretty, because my father didn't really pay a compliment. So I wonder, was I beautiful enough? Is the guy seeing me because of, like, so having that father there for the girl, it does help, and for the boy it also helps. But yeah, just wanted to say that part.
What about the dynamics though between, I'm going to say mother and daughter? Because how does that play itself out on the other side of the equation? Because, some of what I heard from you both earlier is, especially from a cultural perspective, they're protective. They don't necessarily provide all the information. Them put you in a cage or them give you a Bible and send you to church or something, and you're supposed to learn through that, right? As opposed to following their example.
Well, I guess I can speak because I have a daughter. Um, when before I had my daughter, and even like when she was younger, I always say, "Oh my God, I'm going to be that liberal mom. I'm going to be, talking to her, having those conversations." And let me tell you, Deandra and Donovan, when the time came for me to talk to my daughter about like puberty and period, it was her dad who kept saying, "You need to talk to her." Like the my I was literally stifling. I thought, and what's strange, like you give me somebody else's daughter because I've done it. I had the conversation and it was no nothing, but I felt like this connection, like, oh my God, this is my child. Why am I talking to her? It took me a long time before I wouldn't say my daughter and I are best friends. Even the other day, I was saying to her, "Your mom should be your bestie. You should tell me everything." But she's always gonna, she's like, "Oh, you're being so weird." Like, but we do have our moments when we have our mother, and then at other times we are at each other. So it depends on whatever moments both of us are in. Mostly her, because she's very moody.
All right, let's switch the conversation a little bit to the question of failure. Uh, there's no question, at least in my mind, and I want to get your take, that some people have not necessarily done a great job as a mother. How would you describe failure in motherhood? What does it look like?
Wow. That's a very hard one, because because I feel like your the experiences that you have in life, to me, and I'm going to use me, guide how I do things now. And I think that failure, like I don't think I would want to say fail, is we might not have some parents might have not have stood by their kids in a certain kind of way. But I think I don't know if I can answer that one, because I don't know if I would want to say failure, because as I say, I grew up with my grandmother. She was the most instrumental person in my life. So things that I learned, it wasn't necessarily from my mom. So then I wouldn't necessarily want to say she failed, because we would have to trace failure back to the beginning of who started, because then she might not have had the right example as to how to parent. So I think those things pass on and on. So I think to say fail, we'd have to go back way some far place back to trace who failed first.
Deandra, what do you think? Do you
All right,
think?
let me try. Let me try. Failure as a mother, that was the question, right?
Yeah, like
What does it look like? I feel like that looks like when you stop trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be for your child. So when you stop trying to listen actively, when you stop trying to communicate effectively, when you just give up on them, then I would consider that a failure, because you just done with you, move on, peace out. Yeah. So
yeah, because don't you look at society? I mean, especially, again, I'm going to look at across all cultures, because it's not just a Jamaican thing. And you look at some circumstances, and you look at certain behaviors, and you wonder to yourself, if 10 years from now, 15 years from now, how that child feels towards their mother based on what the actions were, right? If it's some recipe or some formula which says, boy, you kind of fail the kid, you didn't give them the information that they needed, you didn't give them the emotional support, you abandoned them at some tough times, you didn't extend yourself. You talk about nurturing, you didn't nurture. Right?
Yeah.
And the reality is, in some cases it happens. And maybe something that you can both comment on is the person who has deep animosity and hurt towards their mother. Is that something that should ever happen? Is that something that is acceptable? Can you see a circumstance where you can say, well, I understand why I feel that way there, or she feels that way about her mom?
I think I can, but then I always go back, and my sisters and I, we would have these conversations sometimes, just talking about parenting, and if you feel like, say, your mother fail or that person fail, I just feel like you get to a point where, again, I just felt like if I could probably use my mom, that I'm not sure she had the right tools in how to be a mom in the first place.
That's a good one.
So I think that it just comes with her playing it by ear, and information wasn't so readily available. Now we can Google, and we have all these parenting classes, these fancy things that help us along the way. So I think that, because I know some people who, like, their mother is dead to them. And like, I can understand, because I don't know their journey, and I have to leave and trust that they have their reason, and I can't push to say, oh, you need to forgive and forget it. It's just how you see and how you treat what happened, and how you can move on from it, because forgiveness is for you, right? It's not for the person.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's another one I want to put a twist on, and I'll share my story. So I grew up with a stepmom, and for the better part of 50 years, it'll be more than 50 years of my life. So I'm gonna age myself. Yes, folks, I know. Right. She was mom until she passed away, and for those who didn't know, they would never know that she was my biological mom. And for me, there was nothing that I could identify which would suggest that anybody, even for a moment, question that mother of mine. But there are some people who struggle with the concept of stepmoms and foster moms and somebody who is not biologically your mother. Talk to us a little bit about that and that perception, especially in our culture.
I feel like there's so many people in Jamaica who grew up with stepmoms, because a lot of my classmates grew up with
But some
stepmom,
people
and
make
they
it
were
seem like it's always a wicked stepmother.
It's a stigma. It's a negative stigma.
Not
I
true.
think it's a stigma. Yeah, it's a stigma,
Yeah.
like mother-in-law. I think it's a stigma.
No, no, it's more than a stigma, though, Deandra. You have some wicked stepmother out there.
Really?
No, I've heard
Oh,
situations and I've seen
Yeah.
firsthand what
wow.
some people do. Even in the news a couple years ago, where a lady sent her children from Jamaica to here, and she lost her two children because the stepmother and the dad, both kids died. So you have some wicked stepmother out there, so it's not a stigma, but you do have
But you have wicked mother too.
oh
True.
hey.
True. 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 True.
Yes. So again, if we're going to mother as in someone who should nurture, you
Right.
have some wicked mother out there because some I lick them when me get my mother did wicked. Me not think me did deserve their lick there.
Are you sure?
So there are moments in the life when she was a little bit wicked. You know, you can say, no, me never deserve their lick there.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, listen, guys, we'll look at the clock and time is going. What has been the most satisfying or fulfilling part of motherhood for you both?
You can go first.
Yeah, go on. Andrew, that's why I was looking. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So for me, it's seeing my son's matriculation into adulthood. When he says to me, Mom, do you want me to get you anything at the store? Or if we do go to a store, Mom, can I buy you this? Or Mom, what do you want for dinner? Or just his behavior, because like I was mentioning earlier, he was a very strong-willed child. He's still strong-willed, but it's kind of tapered off to know he's not trying to exert it on me to express who he is. So just seeing him morph into a young man that I never thought I would see, seriously, that has been for me wonderful to behold.
Yeah.
Nicole.
Yeah. For me, with motherhood, I when it comes to emotion, I don't think I have any. And I think I actually don't have no cry, no nothing. I am an emotionless pit. But when I had my daughter, like that is the first time I said, this is when I truly understand what love was. And now to just see them like so like my daughter, she does extremely well in school. Clearly I know me she get it from because when me got all know me still dance. Sorry, me still dance. So clearly that gene they skip over somebody to her. But just to see her the other day we did a photo shoot together and I was just looking at her and I'm like, oh my God, like I made this. Like, well, God have something and our father have something to do with it, but hey, to me, you know,
I
it's
never
just
you
this
won.
sense of like overwhelming emotion just looking at them. And when them like me, because they don't often like me, but when they like me, we sit down and we have these conversation and we hang out and do these things, it just feel like I just feel like those two little humans is the only thing I've done right in life.
Oh,
Like,
that's
yeah.
awesome. All right, as we get to wrap up, last one. If you were to use 3 words, so you get 1, 2, 3 to describe motherhood and the experience, and Deandra, you possibly down to 2, because you talk about nurturing. What would those words be? That's what, there are
Challenging.
people who are going to be listening to this or watching this afterwards. Some who are not mothers yet. Some who are still on the fence as to, should I not. Some who are deeply committed and anticipating getting there. You guys have gone down the road, so help them.
All right. Challenging. But, well, you said, all right, let me not give you a sentence. You say words. Challenging, rewarding, growthing, which is not a word, but may I make it a word. So growthing.
Challenging, rewarding, and growthing. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Nicole.
I'm going to use rewarding, difficult. Can that be a word?
Difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's already a word, man. Oh, you mean?
I've used that one there.
Oh, that one there. Oh, you mean the sound? Like
Yeah.
we say, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. That works in Pato for those who don't understand.
Yeah.
Listen, this has been an awesome discussion. Here's what I'm going to cap it with. Uh, Happy Mother's Day to both of you. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, stepmoms, grandmoms, church moms, mother-in-law, everybody watching this. And the word for me, for all of you, is blessing. I know for me, my mom was an amazing blessing. Every now and then I still talk to her. I was in Jamaica the other day, and I'm gonna go visit the spot and have like a chat before we leave, and all the rest of it. Because I think having a mom is such, well, all of us have one, but having one that connects to us and gives us the kind of energy is such an amazing blessing. So thanks on behalf of Zachary. Thanks to you, Nicole, on behalf of Kenya and Mali. And for everybody watching, thanks for what you do. Motherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is our reasoning today on Gwaan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
having me.
Yeah, laugh, Nicole.
No, because you come back. I guess.
You never want to come back.
No, maybe. Me don't mind. Yeah, man, come back.
No, but great discussion. Great discussion. Love the vibes, and
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things. It's interesting though, because very rarely do I hear of the men being labeled for being mother. Me hear you talk about that, and I'm like, I never hear no man I say, boy, happy Mother's Day to me. But me hear the woman them say,
Say it, yeah.
happy Father's Day to them.
To them, like, it hurt me, but I guess you have to
Yeah,
make people do them business, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
So Sharon, I said thanks for the conversation. Yeah, big up
Oh,
Sharon.
yeah. Thanks, Sharon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah. But yeah, and thanks so much for letting me jump on to talk about this important topic, Lilith. Oh, my plan
What's
is
up,
to.
sis? Happy Mother's Day to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's your sister? Okay.
Mhm.
Hi, Miss Lil.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's part of us appreciating the contributions that you all make. I mean, it's an important contribution, and in many ways, there are certain things that fit or fall into the role of a mother that I am not necessarily eager to take on.
To take on.
Right? In the same way that there are roles that are elements of the role of a father that I just absolutely embrace and love to do, right?
Right.
So I just part of the equation, and I think it's part of what makes the world click,
Yeah.
right? It's an important role. It's something that some people don't understand how significant it is and how much it helps to shape what our lives and future turns out to be, right? So
Yeah. It's very key, and so I guess because you don't know and you see it as being easy, so sometimes we jump into it with not much information because people. I'm not sure how many people actually like research, and I'm not sure how much even research can
what kind
prepare
of
you for
research?
the
And
actual.
this is what I'm gonna end with. You know
Yeah.
who we give credit to? The mothers of yesteryear who have 12 and 13
Oh,
and 15,
Jesus.
and they never seem to bat an eyelid. My grandmother on my mother's side had 12 children, and everything remember about grandma suggests that she never bat an eyelid
Right.
about just doing all that it took to raise her kids. I mean, sometimes you smile now when you hear the people and with one out and ball and carry on, and you're like, yeah, but they say, but granny did have 12 and 13, and
Hey,
it's just
that's
another
after
it's just
granny.
another day for them doing all the things that came with being a mother. So it go.
Yep. So
All
you
right,
go.
may I go check out and leave it
Yeah,
alone.
man.
Great
Thanks
reasoning.
so
All right.
much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right. All right. David is saying blessings to all mothers and women who play different roles. And he's bigging up his mom, Nana Lorette. Love you enough. Thanks, David Pennant. Prezi, thank you. All right. So that was a good conversation and looking at the joys of motherhood. Again, as we say the joys, but there are difficult moments in there, and we hope, again, we just want to say happy Mother's Day to all those people who are stepping into the role of being, as Deandra said, of being a nurturer. So whether you gave birth to these humans or you acquired them through whatever means you acquire them, on Sunday, I just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day and keep doing what you're doing, because as women, we keep this world turning, and we do so much when in these roles that we play, these varying different acts. So again, just want to say thanks to mothers, thanks to my mom, happy Mother's Day. My grandparents are not here anymore, but happy Mother's Day to my grandmother too. So happy Mother's Day to you all. And I'm not sure if there are any comments of the patois word of the day. I'm not seeing any coming up, but I'll just go on. So next week, and if anybody guess where the place is in a foreign, aka Canada, nobody don't know where it is. So if you can look, you still have 2 seconds to drop it in the comment. All right. So still comment and let me read out those comments and let you know. So for next week, please ensure to come back next week. Next week, we'll be talking about media and freedom of the press. And we'll be talking to Xavier Murphy and Mark Millard. So come back and join in the conversation and let us talk about media and freedom of the press and see what's going on. If Sharon is asking if that is in Edmonton, no, Sharon, that is not in Edmonton. Give another guess. So again, remember, you notice in that little intro at the front to send us your videos of you. If you watch Watergone, send us a little 30-second clip or even 15-second clip talking about Watergone so we can add it to the show and make it more lively so more people can see that hey, Watergone is happening and we're still out there. Shauna, Alberta. No, Shauna, it's not Alberta. Come, quick, give another quick guess. So remember to check out our website at www.whatagwan.ca. So if you need any information, send us an email or contact us on social media. And we're on all the platforms. Well, we're not on TikTok. We don't reach there so yet, but we're coming. But you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and on our website. So if you want to hear us, you want to give us feedback, just link us on any of those platforms. And also share the video. If you watched it, share the link, share it to everyone and the different, so we can build up our viewership and we can get Watergone out there in the big worldwide web, right? So just remember to share it again. So this is your girl from Bongo Town. Come back next week at 7 p.m. MST time for another episode of Watergone. Bye from your girl from Bongo Town. See you next week.